Okay, why isn't anybody talking about Counterplay from Mind Games? Come back and I'll tell you if this is another masterpiece from the house or just an underwhelming, overpriced release. Come back. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new video, Smell Good with Jenna. I'm, of course, Jenna. Thank you so much for stopping by. If you're into fragrance reviews, layering combos, and just smelling like you got your life put together, then you know what you got to do. Stay blessed, like, comment, and subscribe, and let's get right into it. So, Counterplay, Mind Games. If you're not new to my channel, you know, as I always say, I'm obsessed with the House of Mind Games. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm obsessed with the House of Mind Games. I went from not even interested in this house because I didn't understand why you couldn't find this discounted anywhere to falling in love with a fragrance and now owning at least 7 or 8 bottles. So I love the house. I wound up around Christmas time receiving from So Avant-Garde, and I don't want to be like I'm special that they just sent it to me. Obviously, they sent it to quite a few customers, but they sent samples from Mind Games, their latest releases of Counterplay at the time, and Opera May. I knew immediately once I smelled both of them, I wanted them, specifically Counterplay. I was, isn't that toxic? We're Christmas time and I'm thinking about my summer fragrance that I'm going to purchase. But that was the case with Counterplay. This was something different, creamy, heads up on the nose. We'll talk about it a little bit more, but I didn't own anything that had guava, melon, and banana at the time in my collection. So I was all in on this fragrance. And I was even willing to bite the bullet and spend $395, which is what it retails for. Maybe a slight discount from some of my go-tos, but I couldn't find it anywhere. So I felt that was probably going to be the case when it came to this one. But shout out to Fragrance Nevea, Fragrance Nevea. They came and saved the day. And they were around, I want to say, April of this year or so, wound up getting them in stock. And I wound up getting Counterplay for $278, which that's a significant savings. Even though I was in a no-buy, I wound up getting this. When I first smelled this, like I said, this was something I didn't have in my collection. It wasn't your average tropical scent. It had this creaminess, this silky velvetyness to it that I knew I needed to have in my collection. All right, so let's jump into the notes. I'll put them on the screen as always, but some of the main notes, we have melon, guava, banana, and sandalwood. Those are the ones that really stood out to me. This opens up with this mouth-watery, juicy melon, guava, as I mentioned. And then as it dries down, you get the banana, but the banana wasn't like candy or anything like that. It was this creaminess that went with the sandalwood dry down, which I find makes this completely different from other fruity tropical summer fragrances, just because a lot of times when you get these fragrances, you get the mango, you get the pineapple, you get the coconut notes, but you never really hear too much melon, guava, in my opinion at least, banana. And then it's juicy, it's wet, it's really cloying. This with the sandalwood, it was just, as I mentioned earlier, this silkiness, this velvet creaminess that I thought was absolutely beautiful. Instead of it being like a fruit juice, if you will, it was more like a tropical smoothie. Gorgeous, gorgeous. When would I wear this? Obviously in the summertime. This is something you wear when it's like a luxury type of summer outing, whether it's you're going to dinner. Same thing that I always say. Maybe not a rooftop dinner, but not like a happy hour or anything like that. I'd wear it on a vacation. If I'm going to dinner on my vacation, I'm at a resort, for a birthday party. Spoiler, if you didn't see my birthday layering combo, I actually did wear this on my birthday. So I'd wear it something around like that. I think this is, I don't want to say this is a unisex fragrance, although nowadays we know a lot of fragrances are marketed as unisex. However, I think Counterplay is more feminine leaning, but a guy who is confident and doesn't mind wearing something that's on the fruitier side could pull this one off, just because also too, again, as I keep mentioning, that banana in here is pretty creamy, and then the sandalwood also makes it creamy. It's just not this fruit punch that's being thrown onto you. So I think, again, unisex, but probably more feminine leaning. In regards to longevity and performance, I think the performance is low, moderate. That's the thing with mind games. People really have an issue on when it comes to how it projects and its performance. But for me, as I mentioned, I wore this on my birthday. So if I went out to dinner around, let's say 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening, I could still smell it on me around 9, 10 o'clock. But also when it comes to overspraying and layering, and a lot of people might have an issue with spending $395 on a fragrance where I keep smelling it because it's just so good, but spending $395 on something where they feel they have to overspray and even layer with. So that might be an issue. Like I said, low to moderate sillage. You'll smell it on you, but it doesn't necessarily fill up the room. And the longevity, 3 to 5 hours or so. So it's not the best, but it depends on the setting that you're and the vibe you're going for. If it's something where you really want to make a statement and have people break their necks smelling you, you could do that if you overspray. But if it's something that's just subtle, you're going out to dinner, it's just an intimate setting, it doesn't have to project too loudly. Okay, so let's jump into the layering combo. I was contemplating that I want to go in depth with both of them, just because I already have a video about my birthday layering combo. You guys can easily just show it some love, add to the 100 and some odd views, and like I said, show your girl some love. But I'll try to be really quick with the birthday combo. But obviously for my birthday, one thing, if you didn't watch that video or know me, I go in for my birthday, whether it's my scent, whether it's my look, whether it's, where I'm going. My birthday is very much a big thing. It's a holiday, July 2nd. So this combo, there's a lot of steps to it, but I felt that it was necessary to make a statement. So I have from Bath & Body Works Fiji Sunshine. I've actually had this for a couple of years, not too long, because I don't want y'all to be like, Jenna, you got to throw that away. But I've had this for a couple of years now, and although you can see it's basically, I've used quite a bit of it, and although it's a really nice scent, I don't have anything guava, so I never felt like I had anything to really pair with it. Now I do. I have a couple of fragrances that goes really well with that. So obviously we started off with an unscented soap, and then I used this. Next, for my exfoliating Shea Sugar Scrub, even though in Counterplay it's not watermelon, it's melon. I'm like, so what? We don't have to be exact. So I used that to get that melon base going rather. And then after that, I used Fenty Skin's Guava Getaway to amp up that guava note. And again, to amp up the guava note, Blanc & Noir Skincare Pink Sorbet. This has guava, strawberry, and vanilla. So that obviously paired really, really well. Now here's the kicker. I used Canvas Beauty Brand's Body Drops, their Banana Cream Pie. Why? Because of that banana note. So I feel like even though you smell the banana in Counterplay, the guava and melon what stands out, at least to me, the most. It's there and it comes and goes type of thing, but I wanted to make sure it stays a little bit longer. So I added the Banana Cream Pie Body Drop to that layering combo. Now we sprayed, after all of that, Mind Games Counterplay, obviously. Then we used, as I mentioned or maybe I didn't mention to you. Did I mention to you guys about my other guava fragrance? Anyway, Simone Andrioli's Sunplosion Aloha State of Mind. This is really, really nice. The longevity kind of sucks, but it's a really nice fragrance, especially if you want to layer it with stuff. So that went really well with that. And then the final touch was Kayali's Maui in a bottle. This has sweet banana, let me see, pear, coconut cream, a cup of sandalwood, vanilla. So perfect, again, just to have that banana note still somewhat prominent. Not that it was overpowering, but it was there. So let me see if I can hold all three up. Put all these three together and your girl was smelling like a tropical smoothie. And it was beautiful. So that was that layering combo. On a regular schmegular day, because it wasn't my birthday, so it wasn't that big of a day. Nah, but the other combo that I did was last year. Ironically, I didn't mention this earlier, but Leonora was my birthday scent last year. So it was only fitting that I had Counterplay as my birthday scent this year. You know, mind games, the tropical vibes, you get it. So anyway, so with this combo, I started off with Bath and Body Works Bahamas Passion Fruit and Banana Flower. I always have to look at this because this is such a tongue twister of a name. But I used that. Then in the shower, we use Tree Hut's Passion Fruit Soul. Continue that passion fruit base. Then I use Skin Potions. I blanked out real quick. Skin Potion Costa del Sol. This is a passion fruit fragrance. Body butter, if you will. It's gorgeous. And then the matching body oil. And then I also used again Blanc and Noir Skincare Pink Sorbet, again for that guava note, because guava you gotta fight in this combo. It's not all about passion fruit. And then we layered the two, Counterplay and it's a little greasy, Leonora. Beautiful, beautiful combo. Now this I smelled all day. So this is something, even though people might find, again, Mind Games lacks in, like I said, longevity and projection. These two together, I wound up smelling all day. I'm not sure if it left a trail or anything like that, but I definitely smelled it on me and on my skin. Definitely even more on my clothes. So those are my two layering combos in regards to my final thoughts and recommendation in regards to Counterplay. How I feel is I could be biased just because Mind Games is one of my favorite houses. So I'm not biased in the sense of, oh, it smells good. I'm biased in the sense of I think one should buy it if, however, you can find it for a really good price, because $3.95 is a steep price. Then you got to figure tax and all that. That's a lot of money for something that may not project really, really well. Now, if you can find it like for a price that I found it for, $278, around that price range, I definitely say go for it. This is, as I keep mentioning, not your average tropical scent. It's more of a tropical smoothie. Notes you may not necessarily find in fragrances too often. At least I don't think so. I think it's definitely worth buying or even at least sampling. So that is my video. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you're familiar with Counterplay. You don't really see, like I said, you don't hear too many people talking about it. When you try to look up the notes, it's not any notes on Fragrantica or reviews about it. So let me know if you're familiar with Counterplay. Thank you so much for watching. Stay blessed. Like, comment, and subscribe. And always remember, the best compliment one can get is that you smell so good.